Hello there. Thank you for joining me. Hope everybody's doing well. Tabby and I are just hanging out on a beautiful day. And this is the final episode of Uggums. Kind of sad to say. I did enjoy this island. I enjoyed all of my villagers. Yes, I did, Tabby. Even you. It was probably one of the dumbest things I ever chose to do. I had this sneaking suspicion in the back of my mind going, this isn't going to work because you tend to fall in love with everybody. And I did. I did again. This was really tough. Well, okay. The one I declare the winner, I could not warm up to. I tried. Believe me, I tried. And there's nothing particularly wrong with them. Well, they're on this island, so there are issues. Oh, it was just... I feel like I failed because declaring a definitive winner of Uggums, being the king or queen of Uggums, it just doesn't feel right to me. And being that kind of a person, this was probably a very dumb challenge to take on. And I know I did it because I felt sorry for them. And that's a very stupid reason to want on Uggums Island and then crown the ugliest of the Uggums. So maybe if I could have reworked the challenge rules or something, I don't know. But it was too late for that. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I even loved the way the island turned out. I was surprised. I didn't want to beat myself up too much with this one as far as decorating and terraforming goes. And I didn't. And it still turned out to be, to me, a very charming looking island. So what I'm going to do is take you on a final tour of Uggums, and we'll talk to each of the villagers that we ended up with. But first, I never really do this, but I figured, what the heck. Quick house tour. And no, we don't hang out too long. I just never really do this, and I figured, why not? And yes, Halloween is right around the corner, a couple weeks away, so I'm getting a lot of those items. Villagers are teaching me DIYs, and the Nook brothers have those items as well. Now, this room I specifically set up in the elegant design. Ignore the other extra pieces that are in here. It was all elegant. And I got a Sunday notice from the Happy Home Academy saying, the only room we didn't like was the one on your right. This room. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of people say that if you put, well, HHA even says, if you put all the same items in a room, it helps your score. And I did. And that was the one room they didn't like. Most of this is just catch-all junk I accumulated at the store, and balloons and villagers and tree shaking, buying from the store. Well, the Nook shopping isn't on the phone. The only real thing I got at Treasure Islands was Nook Mile tickets. Of course, we needed those for this particular challenge. And some flowers that I was just waiting and waiting and waiting for and did not get. And then if there's a duplicate, it's because I went into the Nook shopping on the phone and I bought it again because I really liked that patchwork. But that was the only one I got. This was supposed to be rattan, and they were encouraging me to continue with the rattan, but then they started saying, well, they're not the same color. Why don't you try making them all the same color? color. And I'm like, leave me alone. I'm not even interested in you. This is funny. That was an early song that I got. And as I started popping the gyroids in there, it got funnier and funnier. All right, now we're going to do the little tour. And if I see a villager, we will talk to them so that you can get a better idea of who I had on the island. And I'm going to reiterate. Had I found Rodney or perhaps Jitters, and I know Jitters is a bird, and I will guarantee you he's probably one that I would have fallen in love with. But Rodney, I still think Rodney is the hands down winner in the Uggums category. I don't know how anybody else feels, but that's my personal view. And it's biased because I don't care for the hamsters. So this was just impossible. I got that second pond from the recycle bin in the resident services. After Lindbergh moved out, he threw it away. I was a little shocked by that. Yeah, the flowers just didn't really flourish. And yes, I do have a couple gardeners on the island. And that's probably because the last island that I had that you guys didn't even see, my flowers were crazy. I think I mentioned I planted just one white, one yellow, and one red rose from leaf. And a couple days after they had bloomed, I had a blue rose sitting there. It was crazy. I got the green mum. I did get the green mum this time, but it never did anything. See, it just sat there. I don't know what happened. But my yellow mums produced a couple green ones, and that was it. Yes, I was very pleased with the way it turned out, but the whole premise of this was to get as many Uggums on the island as I could and see if I could find the ugliest, and I didn't. It just wasn't in the cards. So I had to work with what I was dealt with, which is what we have. And I was specifically looking for villagers that a lot of other YouTubers tend to go on about. Not personal preference or personal taste or anything like that. Just, this is what I hear a lot of complaints about, so those are the ones I was looking for. And it just didn't work. I think they're all adorable. They're so sweet and they're so kind. And they're just cute. How can you not like something that is cute? Yes. Al has color, lip, bummy, and eye issues. But I'm not going to keep harping about the ape gorilla and their bum hanging out, because all of these villagers walk around bottomless. Every single one of them. And Hippo and his unfortunate color and the fact that he's a hippo. I never even bothered to get a flag. I never changed the song. Oh dear, I said I was going to change those banners and I didn't. I was preoccupied with those hefty villager hunts. I think I just saw a moose, yeah. Now, I will tell you that some of the YouTubers didn't like him because the hair and the sideburns are drawn on. I'm pretty sure the whole villager is drawn, isn't he? Maybe just the effect of drawn on or something, penciled in, I don't know. I just don't see a lot of things that other people do until it's pointed out to me, and then I'm like, oh, that used to happen to me a lot with a song. I hope he's not asking to leave. It's too late for that, Gruff. And besides, you can't go anyway. You already asked me 4 times, and I said, please don't go. Oh, okay. I'll bet you he gives me one I already have. But that, I was mentioning how that usually happens with music. You really like a song, and you're really into it, and then someone points out this obnoxious, minuscule bit of noise in the background, and from then on you cannot help but hear it. Oh, I meant to set that down, not wear it, dum-dum. And I already have the red work suit, but that's okay. This island is going bye-bye. So it's the same with the villagers. Some things I just don't really notice or pay attention to until it's pointed out to me, and then you can't help but notice it every single time you see the villager, and it's a little frustrating. So we've seen Gruff, Moose, and, well, we saw Tabby, but we didn't. Yeah, I'm going to hand in the last of these fossils. We needed one more. The Diplodocus butt, and it's just not happening. All those fossils that I've been handing in from the hefty villager hunts, and nothing. And then the time traveling, I pick up as many fossils as I can see along the way, but my inventory was full at least 5 times. And he kept saying, oh yeah, gee, these are nice, but we already have them. Oh boy. Well, we never got the Diplodocus butt. Oh well. We would have completed the dinosaur exhibit. We had quite a few statues. My villagers kept mailing me statues, and Red kept showing up. Now that was one of the highlights. Only one time on Red's ship did he have fakes. And when you went to Harv's Island, he had genuine stuff there too. So the art exhibit was it was filling up pretty nicely. So I'm pretty sure most of my villagers are home. I know Naomi is, yeah, she's home. So we'll say hi to Naomi. Well, goodbye, actually. We're making our farewells here. I finally have Naomi on an island, and that just now dawned on me. All these years, I'm like, one day I'm going to have you on an island. One day I'm going to have you, and it happens to be an Uggums Island. But only because a lot of people think she's ugly, and I don't. I think she's neat. And she's a sweetheart. And Coach is mad about her. He is crazy about her. Every time they're outside together, he's hanging out near her house, or if they're in the plaza area, he's always close by. Copping glances, and it's so cute. And this guy here... Do not expect Beryl to be crowned King of the Uggums. It's just not going to happen. Oh, he's so sweet. I don't mind the 5 o'clock shadow. I don't mind the pink lips. I don't mind the drawn-on glasses. I just don't mind. He turned out to be such a charmer. But you know what? Lazies tend to do that, don't they? Even the ones considered ugly. I really like Gerald. I'm so happy I had him on my island. So, he is not going to be crowned the winner. Not that it's a spoiler or anything. I think you're going to be surprised at who I choose. Well, maybe not. I don't know. We'll wait until that happens. Oh, not again. Oh. You know what? He did this to me before. I said I was going to make him some jam, and then I didn't. Okay. You ate it all, honey. You made all gone. And you forgot. Probably got a sugar buzz. Okay. Let's go make this charmer some jam. I will be back in a flash. I'm back in a flash, and I'm going to give him some apple jam, because it's the only jam I knew how to make. I ran into the kitchen, and I started thinking about it. I'm like, do I even know how to make jam? Hi, sweetie. Going away, gift for you here. I was going to say surprise. Hope you like it. There you go. A refill. Excuse me. Oh, a shirt with a camera. Wow. Thank you. Just what I always wanted. Okay, doll. It's nice having you on the island. I think you're cute. Okay, so we saw Naomi, Gruff, Moose, and Barreled. Yeah, I moved that from the front area there where I had my Vespa, because I got that on a balloon and that at the store, and I thought they would look good with Gruff because he's an old guy, so he would be tinkering all the time. But I'm not too pleased with the way it turned out. Velma, I have seen her when I was looking for the bottle on the beach. She was studying a fish on a rock. And Canberra is never home, ever. But Hippo is, yeah, Hippo's home. So let's go see Hippo for the last time. And everybody knows he's up there in the top 5 of the Uggums. And I know it's because of his coloring, but it's also, he does have freaky looking eyes on occasion. And again, the hair. People complain about the hair. I just don't. Why can't a villager have hair? It makes no sense. Some of the cutest villagers have hair. I don't know. I have no idea. Well, you're going to go into the sunset, honey. Sorry, I hit my mouse pad. Off into the sunset with you all. I've had him before. He showed up in my camp, so I had to take him on my last island. And I did not think, I thought I was going to be very anxious to get rid of him, and I was actually kind of sad when I did. I guess chartreuse is growing on me, and I like the color chartreuse. That's Tabby's house, and we know she's still sitting on that bench in the plaza. We already talked to Moose. Here's Al. I didn't really do too much with Al's house. He's kind of a mystery as far as what he likes and what he's interested in. So, I don't know. And this would probably be at the top of everybody's list, Al. And yes, he was at the top of mine. And I thought for sure there was no way I was going to warm up to this guy. But maybe because he's an ape, I don't know. Funky lips, funky eyes, weird eyebrows, and that sad coloring. And I just adore him. Him and Barreled are my 2 favorites. Now this is Coach, and I think he's the last one we need to see. Well, Canberra. We gotta find Canberra. And Coach, aside from the 5 o'clock shadow and the stubble, what's wrong with him? He's a jock. He's just like every other jock. But he does get a lot of complaints from a lot of YouTubers. I think having him and Vic on an island would be fun. Especially if you did a cow-bull island. I don't know why they categorize the bulls with the cows. There's a major difference there. Alright, so we need to find... Did we talk to Tabby, or... Canberra and Tabby are the only two... No, Velma. But I know where Velma is, so... Let's head out that way, my library. But yeah, Canberra is always tough to find. And I'm not one to go through a museum hunting down a villager. I don't tend to do that. There she is. Hi, Velma. I know you're only here a short time, but... Agnes. Good heavens, Agnes. I wonder if she would have ever asked to leave. As if we have the time to find out. We don't. Well, honey, I only put them there for points, and then I forgot to sell them, so my fault. Some of the villagers hang out back here on occasion. My thinking is, well, I'm hoping Canberra is in either the girls' the Able Sisters or Nook shopping. And then we can move on to the crowning. I really like this area. I think it came out neat. But the flowers were a disappointment. They just didn't flourish. We talked to Moose. There's nobody back this way. Yeah, I am having issues with my controller. That's not an eye issue anymore. It's just the controllers are not doing what I'm asking them to do. Yeah, Tabby's still sitting there. We talked to Gruff. Well, we'll have to check out the stores. Find Canberra. Yeah, I know. Whatever. Gotta say goodbye. I was trying to give everybody a fossil, too, as a parting gift. And most of them, I went into Moose's house and he immediately sat down. So, oh well. Okay, bye, Tabby. Are you going to be crowned Queen of the Uggums? Will it be Moose back there? Mr. Gruff? Alright, is she in here? No. Hi, gals. I wonder what they have final time. I had just about everything I needed or wanted in red, blue, and black, so there wasn't much left to choose from. Except for the cool cyber suit. But yeah, I had everything. Well, that figures. Nope. Nothing worth interest. Well, on the last day on the island, does it even matter? No. Nope, nothing caught my eye. Okay, again, I didn't do that. I was moving it to the left so I could get out of her way, and I ran right into her. Alright, last ditch effort here to find Canberra. Is she in this store? Don't be in the museum, hon. Otherwise, we're not going to say goodbye to you. And there she is. Yay. Okay. Hi, guys. What is... Oh, headphones. You're selling that thing again. You're selling the workbench again. Hey, Canberra. It was nice having you on my island. Time to say goodbye. That does not look like headphones. It looked like 3 cans that are very flat. Okay, it's headphones. I love that diner chair, especially in that color, but we don't need it. All right, guys. It's been fun. Alrighty. Well, that was everybody. Said our goodbyes. My neighbor is out throwing stuff in the back of his truck. I'm sorry about that. But now it is time to decide on a winner. Who is the ugliest of the Uggums on this island? No, it's not. No, it's not. Nope. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? He's so sweet. Look at them all. How can you choose? Well, I did choose. I hope they enjoyed themselves. Since they're the least picked, they finally got their own island. Nope. It isn't Hippo either. Nope. I couldn't do it. I like them all. Well, all but one. All but one. I wonder who you guys would have chosen. You're welcome to let me know in a comment. Drum roll, please. Ta-da! Yep. I chose Canberra. Let me explain. It isn't that I dislike the koalas. I dislike anybody with that kind of a face or an attitude. I do not like itchy females. And I said it that way, minus the B. Was never a fan of bullies, hard arses. I just don't care for them. And that look, I grew up with it. And that's the only reason she won. They're all adorable. Absolutely sweet. But I could not warm up to Canberra. For reasons. So that's why she's sitting on the throne with the crown and the royal robe. The rest of them, no problems with. Absolutely adore them all. They're cute, they're sweet, they're lovable. Give them a chance. Like I said, I enjoyed this. Hunting for Uggums, no. That took way too much out of me, and I don't ever want to do that again. But, that's it for Uggums Island. I hope you enjoyed this series. It was kind of crazy. A little dumb on my part to do it because, you know, I stink at these types of decisions. But thank you very much for being here. I do hope you enjoyed this. And just to let you know, I may or may not be uploading in the future. I guess it all depends. But I do appreciate your views and your subscriptions. Take good care, and I will see you in the next one, whenever that is. Bye-bye.